Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You get the dog. Good morning. Welcome to Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting, December 3rd, 2014. Commissioner Williams isn't with us this morning, so Commissioner Kokoski has the dog.
Come on. I got a little treat here. Really cute baby. About 13 weeks old. Needs some food. I'm seeing his ribs right now, so I'm sure he's probably very hungry. He's very sweet. Come here. About 13 weeks old. He's a male. Is he available now? He'll be available tomorrow for adoption. So come down to the kennel. If not, we have 25 dogs total, which we're doing pretty good, but we always need your help. So if you're looking for a dog, come to the Lorain County Kennel first. Yeah, go ahead. It's going to be
Madam
quick.
Clerk?
Under Resolutions Number 1, Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
No advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cordez?
Thank you, Commissioner Kalo. I do have a few personnel actions I'd like to discuss with the board, specifically some hiring at Job and Family Services, Solid Waste, Golden Acres, Maintenance, and Custodial. Police people think that we're on a hiring spree. We've had some retirements, and we've also had some vacant positions for several months due to retirements that we decided to fill differently and get more flexibility out of our hiring practices and hopefully lower our overall personnel costs. So I'll say that now because it sounded like a lot.
Yeah.
So I also would like to update you on the labor negotiations at our E911 department and the potential purchase and sale of real estate and pending litigation. All four of those topics are allowable under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussion, so I'd ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting, we go into executive session and we talk about those issues that I've outlined. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under Solid Waste, approve the 4 district market development grants for a total of $51,894.51 for recycled materials on various projects to be paid from the grants account. One, oh, you want to read them all?
I was going to have them do them one by one. You can do them all, or, I mean, we don't have to approve them, but
Yeah.
if you want to read and then he does the second harvest, then we do the
We can do
community
that.
college, just a little bit for clarity on how this works. We've had a new process this year, and it was competitive, and we had a lot of phone calls in regards to this. So if you'll start with number 1, and I'll let him respond to it.
Okay.
Second Harvest Food Bank, parking stops, carpet and ceiling tiles in the amount of $18,203.38.
Keith, overview on the Second Harvest project.
Yeah, Second Harvest Project, they're building a new structure, a new facility, brand new, and we got in on the ground floor of this, and we're able to provide some recycled post-consumer materials for the construction of the new Second Harvest headquarters. All right.
Over on Baumhart.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, what a great organization.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have been out at there. I know I see Ted there, I've seen you many times.
I like the food.
Did you go out this year? I didn't make it this year.
Yeah, I made it this year, of course.
Yeah, I should have
It's a
known.
good organization to support.
Yeah, they do a wonderful job in Lorain County.
Their director does a nice job, and actually, they've had some issues. I'm talking board member in the city of Lorain, issues on the site and everything else they've had in regards to running into a myriad of issues. So this will really help out for their final budget number to make it happen. So, and then hopefully they can sell their building. So hope Team Lorain County puts that on their site too as available. So we can have Mike maybe move that over to Dawn and Chris. And
Will
Team
do.
Lorain County is an available site and a possible date because it's a great location on Baumhart by the industrial park.
All right.
Okay, number two.
2, Lorain County Community College recycling stations, the amount of $5,016.13.
Can you talk about this a little bit, Keith, and explain how we got to this and what the college's participation is, and as we help set this up?
Well, college originally, they have a program. They have a team of people. I don't know exactly what they call them because I think the name changes with the, but they work under the College Stars program. And they've done a total assessment, which we helped them do a year ago. That's been completed for some time. And now they're taking that assessment and they're saying, what do we need to do physically to change the way we recycle on campus? And they've selected a couple buildings. They need some money for the actual equipment and the containers. They're going to do the collections for their maintenance operation. But this is just an ongoing evolution of recycling at Lorain Community College.
You know, with 14,000 some students, I'm sure the waste of just water bottles alone has got to be significant.
Right.
They actually been pretty progressive out there working with you. Have you working on another program out there? We did the computers with them, and there was another one you were doing on reduction of overall waste for the.
Yes, we did a complete study with their team, and they met numerous times throughout 2012 and 2013 with Jim Scora of GT Environmental. We're going to go through, if he okays it, we're going to go through the same thing at the county level here next year.
You know, I know
Yeah.
it was a little frustrating out there for a while. You
Yeah.
didn't seem to have the right kind of buy-in at the right level.
Right.
Is that improved?
Yes, yes it was. So that's approved, and they're moving forward with their assessment and making some changes to college.
Similar assessment as we were working with Mercy and other entities, correct?
Yeah.
That type of assessment?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to tell the public what the outcome of that's supposed to be if it's successfully implemented?
If successful, they will have total campus recycling, and it will involve the food program. That's one of their ultimate goals, is to involve the actual growing of local food and serving of local food on campus. So ultimately, that's where they want to be, and then reuse those food scraps in a composting program.
If you head down by, when you come on the campus off of Burns roadside, then you head down to the right, going towards Spitzer, you'll see that they have a garden going out there, that they're trying to grow produce and to do sustainability for their culinary program.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it's all incorporated into one big plan.
And
all
then
right?
whatever's left over might end up into an organics waste facility, hopefully.
I've had more phone calls on that today. It's
We'll
getting
have to-
exciting, sir.
Okay, we'll have to follow up on that this
Yeah.
week. Madam Clerk?
Number 3, Huntington Township for playground equipment, in the amount of $8,675.
This is the township trustees. They're expanding their playground in Huntington. They wanted some additional equipment and some assistance, so we've agreed to do that as part of this program.
Wonderful, touching the southern end of the county then also.
Yep.
Good.
We're reaching out all over.
Number 4, Lorain Port Authority for picnic pavilion structure, in the amount of $20,000.
This is not an unknown project. It was front page of most of the papers. This is the beer pavilion, part of that structure there, as they expand facilities on the riverfront up in Lorain. So this is part of that
Commissioners, you
expansion.
know, the Port Authority had originally asked for $40,000 for the project, but in order to be able to seed money around the community with other projects, the ask was a little big. So we're recommending that we give them 50%, and they'll have to come up with the other $20,000.
I had discussion with them as we've
Yeah.
been going through this. I mean, it's been a pretty hot and heavy project down there. They're trying to put it all together, and costs, of course, on everything have gone up since they first proposed this 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago now at this point. But what they've attracted with Rocking on the River coming on and expanding the venue, it's really going to make a difference, because I'm tired of slopping around in the water down there in the mud when it rains. So, I mean, I think it's been a significant improvement. They've got a couple private investors who are now coming on board, so.
Well, I think participation's important, and if they're not successful at getting the funds, they can always put in for a second round grant. We can take a look at it. It just would have prevented us from like some of these other.
We had to spread it around, I explained that.
Yeah.
You can't fund all in one project. What does this leave us in our grant funding for this year? How?
This is zero, all right, we're
We
there.
zeroed it out?
Zeroed out with these 4 projects, yes, sir.
We have an outstanding issue with, is it the city of Lorain or the port of Lorain?
City of Lorain.
So,
City.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking we're going to give them additional grant monies when there's some owed back.
Well, this is the Port Authority.
I
It's in the
know,
city.
I know, that's,
Yeah.
We, that issue had been up and down now for about 3 years. Actually longer. Let me state this so that we're accurate. It had nothing to do with this city administration
Right.
and their handling of grant funds and expenditures. They came in
They
to this with a
inherited
problem.
it. They
With a
inherit-
problem sitting on the desk.
right.
And you know, we still trying to recover about $180,000. We will recover that $180,000. We've given them ample opportunity to try to justify the expenditures. Now, nobody stole the money,
Right.
and
They
I want to
just
make that
didn't
clear.
spend it on the right.
They just
type of-
didn't spend it on the right
equipment.
type of materials and purchases that the grant was destined to be. So there was no
They
misappropriation of
just
funds.
didn't qualify,
no-
the stuff they bought didn't qualify for the grant.
Exactly. So, you know, sometimes we say something and people get a vision of something else. Nobody
Yeah.
run off with $108,000.
No.
But the qualifications on the expenditures were questionable. We have had findings on recovery for that from our audits. And, you know, sooner or later, we're gonna have to work that to the top of the stack, because we haven't gotten, in discussions and talks, we haven't gotten to a conclusion that's satisfactory. We put that to the back burner because we were busy with all those sewer negotiations and rate negotiations, but since we moved to a different environment on that, I think it's time that I relook at capturing those dollars back. And at that time, you can do a couple things with that, but I believe that you'll be able to reintroduce more money into your grant cycle here, because that's where it came from, right, Keith?
Yeah, correct.
So, I'll work on it.
Okay.
It's not forgotten, it's just,
I know,
Lower down the pile.
yeah, I'm thinking, you know, we're giving them 20 and they owe us 180. I know it's not the same entity, I realize it's, but still, people look at City of Lorain, City Port Authority.
I think it was on this, this administration's watch that, or shortly before you got here, maybe, I'm not positive. I've been here too long now, I can't remember the boards of commissioners. But the Board of Commissioners
Wow,
is
we're not memorable
responsible.
now.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Teresa knows,
but-
she
We'll
but
have
the
to change that.
But the Board, the Board of Commissioners
Remember the ones
is.
that got rid of them, right? No. Just kidding.
Remember Mike and Mary Jo?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wow.
The Board of Commissioners are responsible for the pavilions being built up at Lakeview. If memory serves correct, if it was prior to this board, where you were probably on council at the
Yeah, I
time,
can't remember if did we do that?
We didn't.
Craig Fulton was the mayor, so were you guys in
I was on
office?
city council, I think.
We
that
were on
was.
city council when they probably acquired the King property and turned it over.
Yeah.
I
And
do
we-
remember it.
Yeah.
And we worked with them on
Under
putting a
council.
lot of recycled dollars into
Right.
building the pavilions up there at Lakeview, and you know what a success that was and how nice it made that
Mhm.
park up there. Sometimes people forget all the projects that we've been part of to improve the community.
Black River Lane.
Well, exactly, there was $1 million put into putting the sewer down behind all the buildings. The county put $1 million into that, and there's been other expenditures to support the development of Black River. Now, it's been a Port Authority project, and they did a great job, but without us putting $1 million into the sewer down there, the project would have been much more delayed. And we also put $500,000 into the Palace Theater years ago to help them.
Did you?
Yes.
That had to predate me then.
The Palace Theater money goes back to the late 90s.
I was on the board then. I don't
Two
remember.
payments of $250,000.
I would have to go back and look and see. You know what, I do remember now. I do remember that was under the,
It's not memorable?
yes, now it is memorable, yeah. I just can remember the commissioners who did it.
Well, you were the commissioner yet
I
when
know.
that one happened.
Thank you, Keith.
Keith?
Also,
Okay.
you have more? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say before he goes down, it sits down, after we're done here, if you want to show those photos from the contest.
They're yours, my dear. You wanted
You
them.
want me to show them?
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
will.
You
My
can show them whenever.
comments then.
All
Okay.
right.
Also move one.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Cordez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and also, just so people don't think that we're Lorain-centric with our spending, at the same time, we put $500,000 into the splash zone in 01. So, I mean, there's a lot of projects over the years when a little bit of money's been available that we've been able to support community efforts with partners to improve the environment for the citizens here. So, now that I've said all the great things, let's do a little work here. I need two appropriations and an advance of funds into the erosion control fund. Debt service is due on that. You're quite aware that we have issues with the erosion funds. We're in litigation
The
on
condos?
recovery. Excuse me?
Those condos?
Yes.
Okay.
I made it in advance, but quite frankly, Commissioners, it's dubious that we're going to get the money back. The assets are being liquidated and moved around now, and as most of these erosion control funds and CDBG funds go, these are like second and third seat funds with regard to equity guarantees.
Right, so there's enough money to go around to pay us off?
No.
That's what I thought.
But we're still trying. We're not
Oh.
out of the litigation yet, but I want you to understand, I did it as an advance, but sometime in the future, when the litigation is settled, I may be coming back to you and giving you paperwork for amnesty on the advance. The orders are not going to allow me to have that sitting out there for 10 years as an advance when the litigation ends and we haven't recaptured any funds. This was on that, I think it was the Bender project
Yeah.
up there with the erosion control funds that we received vis-a-vis the state. We're still obligated for those, even though the project has ran into significant problems. So if you would pass a resolution on that,
I'll move.
Second?
Anything further? Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
I don't have any further comments this morning. Thank you.
Mr. Ennis?
I do not have any report this morning.
Wow.
Commissioners
Boy,
report.
boy. Well, early this morning, I went over to Sheffield Village at Quaker Steak. Mayor Hunter had like the state of the city for the village this morning. Had a really nice crowd, talked about how many things that we've cooperated in with him and done a lot of good things together. So it was a really nice event that he had there. They will be celebrating 200 years in 2015, and they have events coming up every month, sometimes two next year. Every month they have something. So if you're interested in getting involved in anything in Sheffield Village, give the mayor's office a call. He'd be more than happy to have you donate or, get involved somehow. Yesterday we had a stormwater district meeting. Approved our budget, and everything went fine with that. I want to let people know, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but there's an option to get 2-year tags for your cars these days, and I did that on my birthday last year. So I got a 2-year tag. Well, I ended up trading my car in and getting a lease, so now next year, the tags are on the leasing company. So I went to the BMV and says, I want a refund on next year's tag. Nope.
Nope.
So, if you're thinking about buying 2-year tags, it's nice that way you don't have to worry about it for
Those
2 years.
darn government people. I'll
I
tell you
know.
what.
I'm not happy about that. I just want to warn people because they didn't warn me. They said, well, that's why we tell you to be careful. I said, nobody told me anything. And they just said, here,
Well, here's what
$107, please.
Well, let's put it into a scenario with us.
I know dog
Dog
guys.
tags.
In the
10
dog
years old,
guys.
the dog guys.
I know, but
I plan on keeping my car. I bought a 3-year tag.
did you?
Yes.
I thought they only had 2-year
No, they have
tags.
3 years.
Okay,
Yes,
well,
but you drive an embarrassing amount of great rides.
right.
Yeah, I do.
You're the
Yeah.
one
I tell
that
you.
You
truck and I
would
use.
never make it in a lease.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So,
When Ted gets
just,
rid of a vehicle, don't buy it.
yeah.
I get close to 200,000, it's time to get rid of it.
I wanted to bring it up in the village, Sheffield Village meeting today, but we were getting towards 9 o'clock, and Mayor Hunter would talk about it for a long time. Our emergency notification system is another thing that we're cooperating with all the different entities throughout Lorain County, and so far, Amherst City, Avon City, North Ridgeville have come aboard. Columbia Township, Camden, Brighton, Carlisle, Grafton, Henrietta, LaGrange, New Russia, Pittsfield, and Sheffield Township. So looking forward to even more coming on board with us next
Yeah.
year for the,
Commissioner, I anticipate over the course of a year, 100% success rate with this. And of course, let me remind you that we will sit down in January and start talking about extending the program
To schools.
to schools and some of those agencies that have a real legitimate need to communicate emergency messages. Once again, the commissioners have provided the leadership necessary to save hundreds of thousands of dollars in this community by gaining the cooperation of the other political jurisdictions that we've all had a problem doing that. And we've had a problem too. It's refreshing to see the inroads we've made in the last 2 years of getting over those barrier hurdles and uniting the four corners of Lorain County on different programming. We're doing it with the 911 software, we're doing it with dispatching, we're doing it with the emergency call system, the alert system, and we're working on other things that will eventually pay dividends for Lorain County long term, so that we can be a regional county that stands strong in the face of being in a major, the outskirts of a major metropolitan area where we sometimes get forgotten. So
I had a nice discussion with Mayor Bring the other day about it. They jumped right on board. Thought it was a fantastic value.
the savings to them was,
Sheffield Lake was amazing, he said, so.
so,
it was a
and Elyria
no-brainer.
was just,
Right.
wow, you're talking tens of thousands of
Right.
dollars. So we're going to continue to find these opportunities and move them into the community and unite the community. And I don't think you get enough credit for your leadership in these issues. So for what it's worth, I'll give you the credit out here, and maybe it'll bleed somewhere else.
I doubt it, but thank you. I'm going to go over here and grab these from the solid waste. Last week or the week before, we talked about the winners from the photo contest. So I'm going to let you see who our winners were.
Yeah, that was worse than name.
You want the, here,
Leanna
Deanna
Shaheen.
Sheehan.
This is a
You need to
two-person
move it up a
project
little
here.
bit.
Almost like.
So that's the robot, all right.
Keith, move it up just a little bit. There you go. You got everything
there.
now.
Take that one. Our next winner was Jaden, and he's a 7th grader at Amherst Junior High.
That's nice.
Well, talented.
Isn't it just so simple?
Wow.
Just such a simple message.
Yeah. And the next one is 8th grader Ethan Cooper. He's at Amherst Junior High as well.
They had to do they had to put a caption with it too.
Yeah. That
So
caption.
a little recycling can go a long way. So
Yeah, there had to be
Clever,
a caption
yeah.
with each one of them.
this one we actually thought they stole this off the internet somewhere. We had to verify that they actually set this all up and took a picture of it. So they
Yeah.
actually did.
Is that a beer can?
I was thinking the exact thing.
I don't know.
I think it's a pop can.
Leave it to
He
Jim.
has
to
the
Got it
figure
from
that
his
out.
parents.
Joey is 12th grader at Vermillion High School, so we had kids
Oh, it's
all
a beer
over town.
can.
And his caption is recycling
Iron
iron,
Manny,
which
yeah.
it's not really iron, it's tin, but
Well,
you get the gist. Okay. So I like to hang these up somewhere where people can actually see
Sure,
them.
why don't we post them up on the 5th floor?
All right.
Okay, we'll get some of the suction cup clips, and then we can post them up there along the wall down where our awards are.
No, you want to use a Brad Nealon?
No, we're not using a brad nail on those walls. The one thing I know is that it's going to be many years before the county has the funds to do any kind of rebuild of things. So we take much better care of what was given to us than our predecessors did.
We also received a letter from the city of Elyria regarding the land bank and the issue, what did I say?
City of
Elyria?
Lorraine.
City of Lorain, I'm sorry. And hopefully we're gonna give them a letter back stating that we're gonna acquire these properties so we can do some demolitions before we run out of money, or before the money's,
Let me go
Not
there for a
available.
moment, if I may. It was interesting that the letter bore a striking resemblance to Illyria's letter, which bore a striking resemblance to the letters Mr. Rakakis has been writing for many jurisdictions to cause, havoc, chaos, and misdirection. So we truly believe that Mr. Rakakis is still going out there and stirring up these things and getting these jurisdictions to put forth. So we spent a lot of time responding to these letters rather than doing the job, and we certainly have a response. It's on my desk. It's pretty well completed. I was meeting with Mr. Metzger last evening, but some things came up, as you both know, that I had to discuss with you for a few hours last night. And I'll finish that this morning. I can tell you that Superman himself could not move this process any faster. It's in the legal system. they're doing a fine job, so I don't want to cast, any doubts on what's going on across the street at the Justice Center. But the process is the process.
The
And-
foreclosure process is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
To acquire the
Right,
property.
to acquire.
And so Mr. Rakakis and his whole posse of people
Who want to be consultants?
consulting for us couldn't move that process any faster. And I get really annoyed because he tends to stir up some misunderstanding with the two cities that we're not going to be successful. Well, let me tell you this, if we're not successful, it's not because we haven't submitted all the houses and properties through the system. We have. It's like trying to stuff 10 pounds of materials into a 5-pound chute. We can keep piling on, but it's not going to go through there any faster. So we're doing just fine there. You'll get copies of the letter. We're going to have a land bank meeting, and we'll get past that. There's a lot of good work being done, and we have some funds that we're holding in abeyance that could be used to tear a lot of houses down. I wish we were tearing more homes down. I wish we were renovating more homes. We cannot get in front of this OFA money and be hurtful to our own desires to use federal dollars before we use local taxpayers' dollars.
Right.
That's always been the game plan, though, and it gets kind of frustrating. I know I've heard from the mayors about what's going on and their staff people, and I'm saying, it's getting through, it's in the court process. Our prosecutor's office, Jerry, you look like you want to make a comment.
I'm trying to remember, because I know George gave me a number to specifically tell you, and I'm thinking he said we have 41. I'm not
41 in the queue?
in
We
the
have to get to
foreclosure
60.
process
We have to get to
that we're
60.
moving forward with.
And we've
I may not be correct on that number, but I thought he told me
And
41.
my understanding was we submitted almost 120, so we're still working. There's a lot of work, and so the taxpayers understand what's going on here. We've also, vis-a-vis land banks and the Port Authority, have contracted with the prosecutor's office to put on a paralegal that we're paying for 100% of the time to simply work on these documents over in the prosecutor's office so we can get some expedited work being done there. We're doing everything that's humanly possible to move these through. I'm pretty satisfied that we've examined what we're doing and we've tweaked it enough that the efficiencies are there. And I think we'll make that 60. And remember, we don't have to tear down 60.
We have to have them in
Ready by
hand.
We have to,
March,
and
right?
right, and we have to purchase them.
Right,
By
they have to be
March.
in hand.
We have to
Right.
purchase them, or we have to get them to foreclosure, or we have to, and that's why these funds are so much more challenging than the last set of funds. Last set of funds, if the house was deemed a nuisance and it was condemned, regardless of ownership, we could come in and we could level that house, green that property, and then put a lien against it. We can't do that with these funds. So every house we tear down with local dollars may be a potential home that could have been used for OFA dollars, and that's why we put a halt to, except in emergency situations, tearing down homes for OFA dollars. As soon as, with local dollars, as soon as the OFA dollars are exhausted, or we find that a few of the homes that were on the list fall out because they're for one reason or not eligible under the program, then we'll get in there with our DRETAC dollars and hit them hard. And we've also just picked up another 18 or 20,000 from the AG's office on they swept those dollars in the old grant and they sent us about 20,000. So we're going to use those dollars pretty quick too because we don't want them to exhaust. A lot of work going on here, but the bulldozers have taken a nap for a while. We saw a lot of activity. We pushed down over 200, I think it was about 225 homes, and under this program, we're hopeful in the next 2 years push down another 170, and then maybe another 100 more with DRETAC dollars. Plus, let's not lose sight that we've done a couple renovations, and we're working on those things too. So things are good. If I sound frustrating, it's just that when somebody keeps going behind us and distracting from all of that for ulterior motives that should be transparent to everybody, it's frustrating.
Okay. Just end of I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I did. Had a lot of turkey and good leftovers too. So, end of my report.
4 days of leftovers were enough. I threw it all out Sunday night. Other than everything else that we're doing this week, actually this morning, Team Lorain County had their quarterly governing board meeting, so we went over a couple of new committees and regrouping after the retreat we held.
Still on it?
Yeah, you're still on it.
Okay.
For the time being. So, that's the end of my report.
Board correspondence.
Move the reading be waived.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Public comment.
Anyone wishing to address the board this morning? Guess not. Motion to go in executive session is outlined by the county administrator.
Second.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.